All right, so we're going to use the How to SEO, which is why I said go ahead and do this for the YouTube Silo Academy as well. But How to SEO playlist that I created for the How to SEO Academy, or I'm sorry, the YouTube SEO, Silo Academy training. This is the How to SEO playlist that I created. These are very broad terms, and although we're not ranking page 1 of Google, we are killing it in like YouTube search as well as in the video search, Google video search. We're doing really well for a lot of these terms, which, you know, again, these are very broad. I was just using these as examples for the training, but it just goes to show you that having a network and also YouTube silo, setting up the silos with playlists is very powerful, because these are very broad terms and yet we're ranking well. Not necessarily for Google straight, you know, universal search, but for Google video search and in YouTube as well. And so it's interesting to see that. It just proves that it works. All right. So with that said, guys, what we're looking at here, okay, is it's called the playlist index page. It's just like looking at a blog index page, right? So when you click on a blog link on the top of a you know, website, it's going to show you snippets of articles within that blog. Or if you have categories, category pages, for example, you click on categories, it's going to show you posts, snippets of posts. So that would be called a category index page. So this is a playlist index page. This is what you will see if you just grab the share URL right here. So that's what this is the index page. This is very powerful, okay, because you can run links to this URL here, and it's going to actually push juice into every single one of these videos, right? Very powerful. So this is the URL that we actually grab and we put in the video description of each one of these videos, right? Because that's the link back up to the top of the silo. Consider this the top of the silo, right? Also, we talk about this kind of stuff in the mastermind a lot, which, by the way, guys, I do want to encourage one other thing just very briefly, and this wasn't, I didn't engineer this, but because I mentioned the mastermind, you know, just want to make everybody also aware that, you know, as part of the mastermind, this class, master class, is included. So is everything that we produce, like most of our products are included in the mastermind with no additional charge, just so you know, because some of you that have joined recently could get additional information on additional training for just a few dollars more and get all of this stuff included as part of your mastermind membership. Anyways, that said, guys, what we talk about inside the mastermind, we're going to give a little bit of that away right now, but you know, you can actually get multiple versions of this URL, and you can do some really cool things with this URL here to push additional juice and trust signals, social signals, and everything else into this playlist to help it rank. And the way that you can do that is like using like the Google URL shortener, goo.gl. So you can make, you know, get additional links for that. So let me just give you an example, and I don't want to get too in depth into this because we got a lot to cover today, but I do want to just give you a brief, you know, like a little bit of information about this and how you can use this kind of stuff to your advantage. So you see, this is the playlist URL here, guys, for this. Well, if we were going to go over to Google URL shortener, which is goo.gl, okay, and we paste this URL in here, we shorten that URL, now we copy this, now we have another URL. This is the same URL, it's the same playlist, it's going to resolve to the same location. If I open up Firefox, paste this shortened URL in here, and hit go, you see how it resolves to the same location? Well, this gives us another unique URL that we can build links to, or that we can share on Twitter, push across a Twitter army, a Twitter network. We can do Facebook shares. You see Marco all the time using these in the posts that he does to drive traffic into Hump Day Hangouts and stuff like that. Why do we do that? Because there's a lot of SEO juice here, guys. It's a domain authority of 100. It's a Google URL shortener, right? So just for SEO purposes, you can do that. You can add diversity, that sort of thing. So moving on. I don't want to gloss over that, but we'll go in a lot more in depth inside the mastermind. Besides that, let's go ahead and open up one of these videos. This is the first one, the top of the silo. If we open this up, I'm just going to pause it. Look, Alex Becker. I'll be damned. I've got monetization turned on this channel because it's a lot like a testing channel, and there's Alex Becker. Prick. No, he's spending a lot of money on video ads. It's funny, but that's funny. Awesome. Anyways, we can see right here that if we go down to the share button here, guys, right here, we'll notice that we have share this playlist starting from current video, and it's checked by default. So what happens is this gives us a URL. If we grab this URL, Let's go back over here to our sheet. We'll paste this in. Now, if you take a look, this URL right here, if I open this up in another browser, you're going to see that it's going to instantly open it up to that particular video, right? You see that? There he is again. Hey there. So what I like about these playlist URLs, these are like what you call a watch page. It's a playlist watch page, right? But you can see over here, once again, you can still pass juice to the entire playlist from here. But what's important here is that we're targeting this keyword at this point, right? So if we're creating a companion website and we're setting up a silo structure on our companion website or associated website, whichever you want to call it, same thing. Excuse me. And you're targeting silo structure on that site. You've built this, the silo out on your site as well. You're going to target the same type of keywords, right? And you're going to have your supporting articles. You're going to have everything stacked the same way that we designed here, right? So if we were going to set up a how-to SEO silo on a site, we would set it up the same way. Well, then what we would do is on each page, remember each page is essentially going to be targeting one main keyword. There's going to be a lot of supporting keywords on each page, but it's going to be targeting one main keyword per page. Then we could embed each video from the playlist embed on that page so that it's got the relevancy. You see that? And so we're gonna actually do an embed here in just a minute. But what I want to show you guys is what I just showed you with the playlist URL. You notice something here? Look at this URL right there. You see that? That's the u2.be. This is the share URL. But the same URL from up here in the address bar. Look, watch. This is going to be a different URL. You see that? It's a different URL, but it resolves to the same location. This one right here, the longer URL, has the better SEO benefit. Because if you take a look at the short URL, which is this u2.be, this one is what's called a 302 redirect. It's still good for passing domain authority, but it doesn't pass page rank. Okay, so again, this is getting into some more advanced SEO stuff. I don't want to get too in depth with that, but just know that this is the actual better URL for SEO purposes right here. Okay, and then likewise, what else can you do here? You could shorten this with the geo.gl, and you could have a third URL. Okay, and just so that you have diversity, guys. Again, we talk about why diversity is important later on. But let's go into the how-to SEO website that I had set up, and I'm going to go in and create. Let's do this. We're going to just create a new page, and we're going to do this embedding process. And we're already 10 minutes in. I want to get through this in about 10 minutes if possible. So the root domain, the root of this site here, this would be the companion website, guys, right? So the root is how-to SEO here, right? So what I'm going to do is, let me take a look at the actual the page for a minute. I'm going to actually call this silo landing as a silo heading something different, like maybe just learn SEO, something like that, because the root is already how-to SEO, so I don't want to duplicate that. So let's just call this Learn SEO. It's going to be the top level page. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and create this page, publish it. Okay, so that's going to be, now guys, I'm going to come back to this page in a minute, but what I just talked about on Hump Day Hangouts, we're going to create a silo, right? So in order to create a silo, we need to, after we created the page, which we just did, we're going to go over to Posts and go to Categories, and we're going to create a category that mirrors what we just created as a page. So Learn SEO, and you'll see the slug, it's going to share the same slug. We're going to create Add New Category, and right here you see Learn SEO is a new category that's been added, and you see the slug? It's the same as the page that we just created. That's what we want. That's how you build a silo, and you use the page as the top level. All right, so the next thing I want to do is, let's see, I have simple 301 redirects right here. So what I want to do is redirect the category page over to the what do you call it? The page that we just created. So you'll see right here is the learn the category. You see this in the URL, guys. Again, this is WordPress stuff. Just know that if you're setting up a silo, this is how you do it. All right, and this is what's called simple silo structure. But you see how this says category / learn SEO. Well, I want to redirect this to the actual page that I just created, and I'll show you why here. If we go over to all pages, and Learn SEO is the one that we just made. If we open this up over here, you see we have Learn SEO here, but there's no category in the slug. because we don't want that. We want to direct all that link juice back to this page, okay? So what I'm going to do is just go open up my Simple 301 Redirects plugin, which is, again, in settings. If you add the plugin, it's called Simple 301 Redirects, okay? And it's just like the name implies. So what I want to do is come over here. Oops, excuse me. I'm going to come over here and I want to grab the first / past the root domain. And I'm going to paste that in here. It says right here, example, guys, so don't hit us up on support and ask me how to use this. It's very simple, and there's examples right here as to how to use this, okay? And then I want to take the URL that I'm redirecting that category page to, and I want to paste that in over here as the destination. Click paste, click save changes. And now if I come back over to my category page here and I refresh, you're going to see it's going to redirect to the Learn SEO page. You see that? Okay, so now we've got the silo set up. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to come in here and go back over to pages. Where's pages? Right there. We're going to edit this page. Now I want to take the YouTube code. Now remember, guys, I was sharing the YouTube URLs up here, right? But look at this. They've got the embed code too. You see the share button? Click share. And instead of just grabbing the YouTube URL, you grab the embed code. Click on embed, and you make sure it says check share playlist from starting from current video. So if we copy this right now, this is the embed code. We're going to jump back over to our site. Text editor. I'm going to put this in center tags as I always do. And I'm going to paste this in. Remember, guys, there will be a replay and notes and everything else, so don't freak out if I'm moving fast. We got a lot to cover. All right, so Learn SEO, I would put my tags in. I'm going to skip that for this because we got too much to go through today. But I would put tags in there as well, some related tags, things like that. Now, if we go take a look at View Page, I'll just refresh this. You can see the playlist has now been embedded with How to SEO as my starting keyword, right? Again, because I have the exact match keyword as the exact match domain, I mean, as the root domain, I'm not going to duplicate that here because then it would be over optimized. So just pretend that Learn SEO was the top of my silo, and this was Learn SEO in this video. Okay, guys, just pretend for that for a minute. But you can see that now we've got it set up. So let's keep moving. Let's go on. And that's now what we want to do is we want to go to posts, right? Because this is the top level. It's a page. But from now, the rest of the posts are going to, or the rest are going to be supporting articles. The rest of these are going to be supporting articles, and these would be posts. Okay, again, that's standard silo structure in a website. Okay, and so, anyways, we're going to jump over here and go to posts, add new, and what was the next one in line was how to improve SEO. So here, we're just going to call this one how to improve SEO. Okay. And you can see that what I'm going to do is come over here where it says categories, and I'm going to select Learn SEO as my top level category. And I'm going to go ahead and grab the How to Improve SEO right here. I'm going to pause this. Who's that guy? And I'm going to click Share, Embed. Starting from this current video, it should be checked by default. We're going to copy that embed code, come back up here. I'm going to use center tags, paste it in, close it out. Oops, wrong way. I put my tags in, everything else. I'm going to click Publish. Come on, WordPress. Come on. All right, well, there it goes. Okay, just took a minute. WordPress didn't like that post for some reason. But now, guys, if you take a look at the silo structure in the URL up here, look at this. See how we have How to Improve SEO right here is now it's a post nested in the category of Learn SEO. So our silo structure is in place. And take a look at the How to playlist, How to SEO playlist is here. But if we click on this, you'll see the video that opens up is How to Improve SEO. You see that? So it's starting with that keyword that matches the keyword here, which essentially means that we're setting up the silo structure on the site to mirror the silo structure in YouTube.